You started to be out today. Me?
Yes, they're still playing, they're playing Baylight City and they're playing Cattle. Best 2 out of 3 starts tomorrow. What's he doing? Yeah, the boys are out, but the girls are still busy. So the band boys are gonna be. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I need them.
What's that? He's on the band. Sorry.
Good.
Well, yeah, it must be somebody else, because Kansas City, they're all Cattle Business. Yes, well, you got a turf field, you're gonna get a playoff. That's what.
Good morning, sir. We're doing well. How about you?
Wonderful. Way you look fabulous. Well, you shouldn't drink with me.
Chris.
From somebody.
You can't say all I can say is that more than anybody else. They do that.
All right, it's 9 o'clock. I have asked David Barber to open us in prayer. You will please stand.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day today and your many blessings. Father, I just thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this meeting today. I thank you for the ones who are in attendance and the families that are represented here today. Father, I ask that you be with these commissioners as they make important decisions for you and for Van Zandt County. And following this meeting, I ask that you be with all of us as we travel to our next destinations. Thank you for watching over all of us during our recent storms. I ask that you be with us as we carry on with our responsibilities each and every day, and forgive us of our sins. And all this we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. The pledge to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may be seated. And I call this meeting to order 9:01. We do have a quorum. All the commissioners and myself are present. Are there any general announcements? All right. If there are no general announcements, are there any public comments? Susan, did anybody turn in a public comment?
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 4, consent agenda. Consent agenda are items considered routine by the Commissioners Court that are enacted by one motion. There's no separate discussion unless the county judge or commissioner are asked to have it pulled to discuss. Are there any items that need to be pulled? If not, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I make a motion.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second, motion by Bobby Phillips, seconded by Mitch Curtis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 5, discussing discuss advising the changing of the commissary and phone system. This is presentation by our sheriff, Kevin Bridger.
Good morning, gentlemen court. I just want to come tell you today that effective August 12th, we're going to be switching commissary and phone systems. I have Richard with Lone Star Commissaries and Doug with NCIC here phone system. So just wanted to advise you of that. Nothing that there's a few things that's been brought to my attention throughout my tenure here now as sheriff, and we just think it's better to switch companies and go a different route.
Sheriff, there's no additional charges, there's no changes to the budget or anything of that nature.
No. It's all self-funding, there's nothing, it's more of a advisory
Right.
to the court.
By law, the sheriff has control over deciding who the commissary is and signing that contract. The commissioner's court. He just needs to advise us, and that's what he's doing. And it's a 5-year contract, right?
Yes, so by law, it has to be revisited a minimum of one time every 5 years. Any sheriff in the state can change it as much as they like, change every month if they wanted to, but that wouldn't be productive, obviously. So the county has had these two gentlemen in the jail in years past, and they've done a great job in the past, and so we're still.
Explain exactly what the commissary is and how it operates.
So you want to explain that? Sure. I know, but he's the expert.
The commissary is just a convenience store inside the county jail. We supply anywhere from garment items, hygiene items, medical products, Snickers bars, chips. Our software package that we give the county or give the sheriff's office handles the inmates' money from the time they get booked into the jail until the time they get released. Our system's set up to bill inmates for any type of medical, any type of jail damages, any type of bills that the sheriff's office or the jail deems necessary to bill those inmates. Our software will take care of it. If that inmate is indigent at the time of a bill for medical or something, they will put that inmate, or our software will put that inmate into a negative balance. When he does get money, it will take that money from him according to whatever parameters are set by the sheriff's office. When an inmate gets released from jail, we do a debit release card so that there are no outstanding checks. If a 10% check goes out the door, 99% of the time they do not get cash. That is an outstanding check that stays on the account for at least 3 years until it is actually recaptured and distributed back to the county or to the state comptrollers. The debit cards alleviate that issue. Once that debit card is released on that inmate's account, the county has nothing else to do with it. That inmate's total controls that money. He throws the trash, it's fine, but it's not on the account for the inmate trust fund any longer.
Okay.
But that's basically in a nutshell, that's what commissary is.
And how do the inmates access this software?
They access the software through a kiosk machine or through the inmate telephone systems. They can call up and listen to it. I believe Doug and them are putting in, or NCIC is putting in a kiosk in the cell. They have we supply a URL, which is just a website page. The inmates have a button on the kiosk machine, they push it, it takes them directly to our website where they have to punch in a ID number along with a PIN number that is set by the inmate. Once they do that, it'll show them all the products and they just tap on whatever product they want and add it to their commissary. If they do not have enough funds to pay for that commissary that they purchase, it takes the first items until it runs out of money and then kicks the rest of them out. And once a week, they will send that order to our facility that's out of Huntsville, Texas. We'll pack it, ship to them the next day. We'll be here before probably 8 or 9 o'clock following morning.
Okay.
And the commissary funds also, they provide, we could use those, we pass them like vehicles, transport vehicles for the county to use for transport to jail only, and some other items within the jail. Commissary money is a lot of that.
Okay. Doug, you want to tell us about how the communication system works, the phone system, how the inmates communicate?
This is Doug.
Doug Ward, NCIC, based out of Longview, Texas. I've been doing this for 10 years, worked at the sheriff's office in Gray County for 15 years over there. So what we do is anything they communicate with the outside world, their phones. Like you said, there's gonna be kiosks in the cells, and what that does is allows the inmates to video visit with their family. It doesn't allow much to see, it's all facial detected, so you'll just shows the face of the family and the inmate. So they try to show anything inappropriate, it blurs it out. It's all reported for investigative stuff at the sheriff's office. Takes everything to jail paperless, so the request forms, grievances, stuff like that, everything's paperless, so they just interact with the staff through that. Like you said, they can order their commissary through it. The mail, so inmates now won't receive mail in jail anymore, like they do now. But the mail will come to us, we'll scan it in, the inmates will read the mail in the kiosk, which alleviates the working staff, and also takes the contraband that comes in the jail. Really just anything that they communicate with outside world.
And can they text also?
Yes, sir.
The ability to
They
text?
can message, they can send pictures out, the family can send pictures in, those pictures are quarantined, staff looks at them, approves them or disapproves them. They can restrict the inmates and the family members, like they're checking around, this is what we should be doing, they can, limit them from that. We also have educational content will be on there, so what that'll do is, inmates go in there, they can take, family violence stuff, they can take stuff for, child abuse, or, how to get a job, anything that GD prep classes on there, they go there and take these GD prep classes. As they do that, they accumulate time for good behavior. And what they can do is there's books and stuff on there they can actually read. It's free to them as they do their classes and learn stuff.
Mhm.
And it's interactive, so they just sit there. They actually have to interact with it. If they don't interact, it'll be time.
And just to interject, one thing I did like about Doug's system, and he mentions now, there's some educational stuff in there, and one good thing is, again, he touched on it, is that there's a GED program the inmates can start. And, depending upon how long they're there, they can either finish it and get their GED, or they can take that time with them that they spent on that program, they can take it somewhere else and pick up where they left off, from that program.
The sheriff's staff be able to print off like certificates of the classes. A lot of times courts require, hey, you gotta take this family violence, this drug rehab stuff. Well, they can take these classes and then print the certificates off and show the courts, hey, I did this, just showing better. So I actually did something this or.
And another thing too, they, each inmate gets their own individual, iPad, if you will, tablet, it's their own tablet, it's assigned to them. Only they can log in, facial recognition, all that good stuff, so, that way, that eliminates too some of the damage that we have to some properties at some time, because it's theirs, and they know if they damage it, they're done, they can't talk to nobody, they can't email nobody, they can't, they can't, communicate with their loved ones, so. That gets the damage of the property down as well.
So I assume they're all wireless then?
Yes,
Your
sir.
system's all wireless?
Yes, there'll be charging stations put inside it themselves. They're all wireless. The tablets will slide in. When the inmate comes in, there'll be assigned a tablet. They'll follow him throughout the jail wherever he goes. He gets booked out, he turns it in. If he damages a lot of stuff, they can charge him all his commissary for it. We take care of all the maintenance. We take care of the tablets road. We don't charge the sheriff's office, none of that stuff. We take care of all that. So all of our property.
There's no cost to the county,
Right.
except for electricity, plug, the tablet, and power.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, I just want to let y'all know what was happening. On that,
All right. Why don't you stay up there?
I'll stay here.
Go up to item number 6, discuss, consider approval of purchase of 2 in-car camera systems for sheriff department vehicles. Determine what budget line items will be used to purchase these. The sheriff has requested 2 additional cameras. The budget for fiscal 2025 was for 5 cameras. And he has 2 additional vehicles that need to have in-car cameras. And it just so happens that the budget for the cameras is put into the IT department budget. And he doesn't have the extra funds in which to do it. And it's not fair to ask the sheriff to come up with the funds. So my consideration is the total cost for the first year is for 2 camera systems is $6,500 and $6,750. And I would like to recommend that we go to the contingency account and take $6,750 out and put into the IT budget to cover the cost of these cameras. we put all of the subscription, IT subscription or tech subscriptions into the IT budget to have a central location in which to monitor them and make sure that we're renewed and adequately taken care of. So, are there any questions?
I like it.
So is there a motion to approve the purchase of 2 in-car camera systems for the sheriff's department and to move money $6,750 from the contingency account to the IT budget?
I'll make that motion.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Before we go any further, is there any questions for you, Catherine? Okay, all right. All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 7, discuss and consider approval of order number 5 for the equipment of L3 Harris for the P25 radio system. Gentlemen, I'm gonna need to table this because L3 Harris has not been able to, after 3 weeks, get us accurate pricing information. This is not additional cost, it is where it's already encumbered in the purchase order for the equipment that we're buying, but we're just trying to finalize additional mobile radios and pathway, what are called interop equipment. And the interop equipment is that would have outside agencies, and we have interops with Wood County, Kaufman County, Henderson County, and several fire departments, and we're trying to get that narrowed down. So we'll wait until we can get adequate information before I come forth with that. So we'll just pass on that item. Item number 8, discuss, consider reimbursement for precinct 2 transfer station petty cash.
Back on March 28th, I'll lay a little additional foundation. We have a transfer station, and at that transfer station, we have a certain amount of petty cash that she uses as change for when people bring in. If they bring in a truckload of goods and they want to dispose of those, the price is $30. Well, if they want to pay with $100 bill, she's got to have some change there. And so we keep $200 petty cash, and she typically brings in her receipts, etc. We go through those with the audit, with the treasurer's office, and make sure that all of the receipts, etc., line up. Well, unfortunately, she was in an automobile accident and had the $200 petty cash in her vehicle at the time, and her car caught on fire and burned up her purse and everything that was in her vehicle. She had a broken ankle and has been out since March the 28th, and so I wanted to bring it before the court and say that it's my ask that she took, basically we've continued to operate the transfer station, and the $200 petty cash she replaced personally. Even though she hasn't been there, she has just recently been released to come back to work on limited duty. So I wanted to bring it before the commissioner's court and see if we would reimburse her the $200 that she has put back into the till during that automobile accident, and I would defer to the court's wisdom related to this issue.
Where do you want to get it from?
Well, whether we move from one of my line items, I haven't, bothered my contingency so far. I'd be fine with that.
I'll motion.
All right,
Second.
motion has been made, second, to reimburse precinct 2 transfer
I'll
station
second it.
petty cash.
Me. I seconded that.
Motion by Brandon Barton, seconded by Mitch Curtis. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 9, discuss and consider replat of White Pines Estates located on private road 5808 in precinct 1.
And we can table that. It's not ready.
All right. Item number 10, discuss, consider approval of Norwalk Addition Number 1 subdivision plat located on Van Zandt County Road 2318 in Precinct 2.
Yeah, this is I believe the applicant is present here. Is that correct? Or nope. What this is this family owns a large tract of land, and they have carved out 2.5 acres and provided all of the backup associated with this to Keegan, gotten Brian to sign off. They have already applied for and installed the septic system. They're going to build one single family home there. And so they have complied with all of the requirements related to our subdivision rules. It will front on the county road. There's no easements or such that'll be necessary here. And so I'm asking, and I'd make a motion to approve the Norwalk Addition Number 1 subdivision plat for that one lot. It's actually 3.4 acres in total. So I think it'll be a nice home and a nice nice subdivision in Precinct 2. And so I'd make a motion to approve the Norwalk Addition Number 1 subdivision plat located in Van Zandt 2318.
Second.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Barton. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 11, discuss and consider the annual license renewal for Santos Luna DBA Santos Towing LLC of 2924 Thistlewood Drive, Seagoville, Texas, to operate an automotive wrecking and salvage yard located at 30782 State Highway 64, Wills Point, Van Zandt County, Texas.
Yes, Judge, this is mine, in my precinct. And, I thought the fire marshal was gonna be here this morning because it appears that they're not in compliance with the, regulations. The fence, there's an issue with the fence. There's an issue with parking. And it's pretty overgrown around it, and the equipment and vehicles and stuff are outside the fence pretty regular. And I think their license are out this week. I'm not 100% sure of that. Do we have anybody here with Santos? So,
Okay, well, and I guess they were coming to the Commissioner's Court for approval because
for their
fire
license,
marshal wasn't doing that at the time.
right, yeah,
So
but we had asked the fire marshal, Keegan had
Right,
asked the
right.
fire marshal to check into it, look at it. And I haven't heard back from him on anything.
Okay, so we just need to table this for now?
I would think so.
Okay. So no action for right now. So, but that raises the question to me, this company has regularly come and asked for a renewal of their license. There are other salvage operations in the county that have never come to the court for a license, so that may be something the fire marshal may need to.
We actually had them, they didn't come to us, we made them come to us.
Okay, Santos?
So, yeah, the first time that they came.
Okay,
Keegan came to see me and I told her, we do have one that has done it from day one and they're out on 20 over in the Van area.
I remember that, that's the one I'm thinking
They
about
have
too.
always done it
But there's
correct.
another one on 64 too.
Yeah, they've done it for 15 years that I know of. out
Okay.
there.
So they just come and pay a license renewal?
Yeah, they
at
always
the
come to
county clerk
the
office?
court. And then
Okay.
once it goes through court, then they come to my office and pay the fee.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for that. Item number 12, discuss and consider authorizing county judge to sign a statewide automated victim notification service agreement. The victim notice service, notification service is a state-run operation. It's called SAVINS that notifies victims whenever someone gets out of is released from prison, from our jail. And it is to notify them. It's supposed to do it automatically. I have yet to find anybody in our county who understands it or in the jail that knows how it works. But we're required to have it, and it's run through the Attorney General's office, and the attorney, they have they've found a new subcontractor to handle it. And we have to sign this a new agreement for this new vendor. And that's what this proposal is for right here. So, and we have a grant, we are receive a grant from the Attorney General's office to actually offset the cost of it. We pay for it, but we get a grant to pay for it back if we get all the paperwork right. So that's what we're working on. All right, so is there a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the statewide automated victims notification service agreement?
Can Sheriff Bridger illuminate us at all on how, are you familiar with how the reporting works when someone is released? I think it's going to apply more to state facilities than it will necessarily to any of ours. Isn't that correct?
Well, let me answer this quickly. There is actually automated equipment that our IT department has to maintain for this service. It comes from the vendor, and it is supposed to handle this all. So there's nobody in our jail. My understanding, talking to Captain, they're calling the victims right now. So we're trying to figure out what the situation is. Nobody in the jail knows about it, knows what it is. And so, but we're required to have it. So we're going to move forward with this and then work on getting the jail educated on what we do have available to us.
So when the victim, the Savage program works on their ID number, on their their inmate number, and when they're released, it's supposed to. I mean, I receive notices when folks that I'm waiting on to either serve for a suit or something along those lines, when they're released, I do receive emails, but that's typically if they're in Houston or Dallas or one of these others. So
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the hang up is on the system. I don't know if it's a software, I'm not saying IT, I'm saying.
no, just, yeah.
I'm looking for some guidance.
It's an education
I don't know
thing.
I don't know if it's a software problem. I don't know.
Right.
Some a box not being checked.
It's an education issue.
Yeah, so
What's
I really don't.
what's being done? We don't really understand what's being done other than it's automated.
If it's JNS automatically sends that information over, that's just go unit, and that uploads it to. So it sounds like it's a software issue a little bit.
It probably is.
So it's
Probably, yeah. Because when somebody gets out their inmate number, they're out. It's not like we don't know where these, where the folks are. So, okay.
All right, is there a motion?
I'd make a motion to authorize county judge to sign the statewide automated victim notification service agreement.
Is there a second?
Second. I'll second that.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Curtis Mitchell. Mitch Curtis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion is added to us. Item number 13, discuss, consider, approve the revised Andrews Center bylaws. I am on the executive committee or trustee on the board of the Andrews Center. And I had the privilege of being tasked with rewriting the bylaws. And it was a year-long process. And I contacted many of the other mental health centers and got their bylaws to use as a token or as a template. And because it had been about 12 years since Andrews Center was updated. And several things we learned along the way is that our at-large members, first of all, the Andrews Center has 5 counties that, not Andrews, yes, that they are the members that of the board of the organization, and that's Van Zandt, Henderson, Smith, Wood, and Rains. Okay, those are the 5 counties, and they're the ones that approve everything that the board does. Well, one of the things that the Andrews Center set up was, and then each county has a board member, and actually Smith County has 2, and the they set up in their previous bylaws an at-large member. And the design of an at-large member is they have some very qualified people who they would like to have on the board, but that county had already assigned someone. So they set up a at-large member to bring in more qualified people. Well, those at-large members never were approved. They were approved by the board, but they have to be approved by the member counties. And so that's one of the changes that we put in there, was that at-large members are approved by the member counties. The other thing is that the legislature passed two sessions ago that a sheriff must be considered, must be appointed, two sheriffs, depending on the size of the entity. How many counties, one or two sheriffs need to be appointed to the organization board of directors, but they were considered ex officio, which means they didn't vote, but they were to be considered for a quorum, which, if any of you knows, that makes things very difficult if you have a quorum, but the quorum consists of people who can't vote. And so what we did is decide to make sheriffs members of the board to vote, which it seems that a lot of people are doing that now. So that was the other change that we did in there. And then those are the two major changes that we did. And we hope to, we sent it out to all the bylaws is the other thing that the member organizations of 5 counties have to vote on. So that is the bylaws are there in your packet. And so I would entertain any questions.
You know, it's unfortunate that Andrews Center and facilities like these fly under the radar, because Andrews Center has the capacity to recommend a 3-day hold on someone. And I know this because I have represented individuals who have gone to the Andrews Center for an issue or a problem, and they find themselves in one of the facilities for 3 days, and they have to have someone, that the county then has to pay someone to represent them. I don't represent anybody related to Van Zandt County on any side, but other counties. So Andrews Center is a very important cog in the wheel of mental health in these counties and other groups that are very similar to Andrews. So this is an area that I would encourage folks to get involved with and pay attention to, because Andrews Center can really impact your life. So I think that it's good to have the sheriffs on there, but I think definitely folks need to be aware that places like Andrews Center, if you go in there with the problem, you may find yourself in a hospital for 3 days, unable to leave.
Okay, I don't know if that's germane to the bylaws.
It's germane because the bylaws are how Andrews Center runs. So, you know, it is germane in relation to how they operate. But I'm certainly not opposed to, but I think that it would be important. I've talked to Andrews Center people that are not familiar with, you know, with the bylaws, but I have no problem with, you know, with these bylaws. I think it's a good opportunity for folks to realize that Andrews Center is very important in the community.
Andrews Center maintains a center here off 243, and they handle roughly 2,000 clients a year that they provide services to, counseling services and other things. They also work with our jail when they have people that are considered to be mentally challenged, and they can send an emergency team out there to do an evaluation and determine whether or not they need to be committed or sent to a hospital. So
I got a question.
yes, sir.
If it says, like, say if we want to nominate Kevin for our sheriff, it says nominated by any county, voted on by the Andrews Center board, and vote to approve by all county commissioner courts. So all 5 commissioners courts would have to
Approve.
Okay.
Yes, that's going to happen in July is when the nominations will come. Right now, you have Buddy Hillhouse from Athens, and you've got Larry Smith from Smith County, are the two sheriffs that are on there. And the law states that when you have multiple counties, you have to have one sheriff from a big county, one sheriff from a small county or a smaller county. So that's what we've got set up right now. And we did have others too. So, any more questions? Is there a motion to approve the revised Andrews Center bylaws?
A motion.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Motion made by Commissioner Barton, seconded by Commissioner Phillips. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 14, discuss, consider approval of county's bills for payment as submitted.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Barton,
Second.
second by Commissioner Williams. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, item number 15, and this is where we move into a workshop where we have open discussion. And what I have titled this is collaboration between the precinct, road and bridge departments to help with road repairs and cost savings. And let me just explain, this court has worked together for 5 months now, and I do feel like that we've had some rough spots, but we're working together well. And there are some things that, as I've been working with the debris removal, the FEMA cleanup of the trees that are down, I've had opportunity to be out and about and see some of the roads, and I've had the opportunity to learn some things. And my thinking is, how can we work together as a group to help improve? And I'm doing this from the admin side, from the operations side, not from the road building side. But there are things that I'm thinking about that we could pursue or research. And so I wanted to present them. And the first one is most of our surrounding counties have some kind of a road engineer that works for the county, that helps with the design and the construction of roads. And we do not have such a person. Okay, we rely on our commissioners and our foremen to do everything as far as design and repairs. And what I was wanting to consider is to get a consulting contract with a professional road engineer that would be available to all the precinct commissioners and their foremen as they desire, as they need, to come out and to discuss with them, like a particular road, what would be the best route to go about or best procedure to go about on fixing the drainage, fixing what the soil is, what they would need to do. Just basically an expert to help us out in making sure that we do make right decisions on road repairs and rebuilding. And I've talked to, I've got the ball rolling. I've talked to Mark McClanahan, which many people know in this county. He worked for TxDOT for many years, and he's now working for Net RMA, which is a road company. It's the people that do the toll for 49. And I've asked him to find out what capacities they have available for the county and there are others. So that's my first item, and I just want to get some feedback. Is that something I should pursue? Are you interested in pursuing?
I think it's a good idea. But we had this done 2015.
I'm not talking about a road study.
Yeah, well, we had a road study done in 15 and 16. And I think you can hire an engineer or somebody but it comes down to money. Like, you can tell us what we need to do, but do we have the funds to do it?
Okay. Well, part of the task would be how to do it within the limitations that we have.
But then where are we gonna get the money to pay him? If we don't have the money to do what we need to do out there, most of us know what needs to be done,
Okay.
but we don't have the money to do it.
Okay.
So where are we gonna get the money to pay
Well-
an engineer if we can't afford to fix our roads?
Okay.
Because
I would propose that I have an idea to propose during budgeting time to pull together the money. But I don't want that to be a limiting factor right now. Is that something that you would use, that you could use?
So can I say something?
You may say something, yes.
So I had a lady ask me the other day, why our roads don't hold up now like they did 20 years ago. And there are several facets of that answer. Our traffic has changed. Our traffic count has changed. The weight of our traffic has changed. We have lost a great deal of experience in some of the older hands that have retired and permanently retired. And there are things that we don't know. Like if I were to ask you, how do you stabilize Blackland Prairie? How many pounds do you use? Do you use Portland cement or do you use lime? Do you use pellet lime or slurry lime? I don't know the answers to those. There are companies that you can do soil samples and test, and you can find out what it costs to stabilize. I can too. I'm working on that right now. But an engineer, I wouldn't say that Mark McClanahan is an engineer, but he is a wealth of resource. He has 30 years of experience, a lot of contacts, and he might be beneficial to us. You're right, it does come down to money. It also comes down to educating the public. They're asking you all the time to do things that you cannot do. And I think sometimes they lose confidence in us to be able to do our job. When I ran for commissioner, I put road and bridge commissioner, and I was told over and over and over, there's no such thing as a road and bridge commissioner anymore. Y'all are not road and bridge commissioners. And we are now driving on the evidence of that statement. So in some ways, we might need a consultant every now and then. I think sometimes I do, simply just a second opinion. I know that Brandon has a guy that's got 20 years experience. Is that right? He got his 20-year pen last week, and he's a resource. But I'm not sure the other guys behind him know, and he'll leave one of these days.
I agree. I mean, I think I'm pretty fortunate up here to have that, whereas the others don't. And I think when it comes to this, it's, your roads are okay. Your roads are okay. It's right here.
What I have seen, if we evaluate the county 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's how they rate out pretty much. I've driven people's precincts to see. You're in Blackland Prairie. You have sand, iron ore. I have
3 different kinds of soil.
I have post oak glade, red clay, and some sand. And I don't know what you have over there. But what Cliff inherited was, how long was Mr. Melton here? 20 years?
12.
18.
18, 12, or 20, somewhere in there.
2007.
Okay,
18.
so here's what he had. He had a 30-year veteran in Darrell Easley, and they worked really good together. Mr. Melton would get the money. Mr. Melton was always working on grants. Mr. Melton was always working on bonds. Mr. Melton was working with FEMA, and he over that period of time, and it took that amount of time, his roads became the best and overtook Precinct 1. Precinct 1 used to be the best roads in the county. The traffic has changed, and we cannot do the same thing that we have always done. There has to be, and I think if we show progress and we can win the public's confidence, tenure with a good crew, and I can tell you right now, Bobby's got a good crew. And he also had his foreman work with Mark McClanahan for 8 or 12 years.
My foreman is a retired state road inspector.
And he built roads in my precinct at 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
The thing with my area is we have the 3 different kinds of soil.
that's right.
And there's way to stabilize it.
There is.
And the pellet lime is probably one of the best for my area, because it will work on all 3 versus trying to change ground.
But back what to the
But
judge is
it's
asking,
expensive.
you're asking, should we get an engineer? that engineer can tell you, hey, we can do this, and guess what? We gotta pay for it.
That's what I was fixing to say. I'm not saying I'm against your engineer idea. I'm not against that. I just want to know where we're gonna get the money to pay for it.
I priced it just last week. I asked, yesterday. I called two companies out of Dallas, lime and cement. Lime was $260 a ton. Cement was $340, somewhere in those areas. They would tell you about what the poundage per square yard would be. And I didn't figure that on a mile, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it would be, it would probably, just to stabilize a mile would probably be $50,000 to $70,000. The way we have always built roads, you could build a cap on a road, mixing oil for somewhere around 70, between 50 and 70. But we have always done that, and we don't address the base, and we're not consistent of addressing subgrade. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Commissioner Phillips came and asked permission to change culverts out on road he's going to rebuild, which to me is ridiculous. Like, that should be our that should be our modus operandi. We do things right when we do them, because I have 268 miles of road. When I build a mile of road, I won't be back to that road for a good while. I don't need to go back and fix a problem that I could have fixed while I was there.
I think I'm not saying anyone, I think that's what's happened in the past is, hey, I need my road fixed, okay? And then you got 20 calls and people need their road fixed. And it's halfway done every road. And I don't know what y'all are doing. I know what I started was, I went to one road and I do it right, and I don't have to go back there. Now, I didn't satisfy Miss Jane over here because I didn't get to her road, but you know what? I got this road fixed. The next year I'll get over here and get that one fixed. It's a slower process, but it's the right process.
That's what I'm working on right now, is changing to that. Just because in the past, they've done a mile here, a half mile there, and to try to, I've heard the term to spread the love. Well, to me, that's a losing battle. Apparently it is, because that's what it looks like to me from the past. And I'm not pointing fingers anywhere at nobody. It's just been something that's happened in the past, and I don't agree with it. So therefore, when we go to redo a road, I'm fixing to start a 6.5 mile road.
You're fixing to spend a lot of money.
I'm fixing to spend a lot of money, but it's a very highly traveled road. It's a really bad road. And we're fixing to do it right from one end to the other. That's the one that I came and asked to do the culverts on. And I just felt like that was something I needed to do, Mitch, was just get you guys to agree with me.
No, I understand. I appreciate that.
But with what you're doing on that 6 mile road, in my opinion, is right. You're fixing the 6 mile road. Now it's just one road out of all but you know what? You don't have to come back to that. Now you're gonna have everybody over here mad because you're out of money now.
Right.
But then next year you get to another road, and when I calculated mine in my precinct, the way to do this, it was a 14-year plan. In 14 years, I'll have every road seal covered.
Well, I don't think I can in 20.
Now his is going to cost more. 3 is going to be more money because of the soil.
Right.
Because you're going to use the lime where I don't.
Right.
So
you could give him some of your money.
that's why I was wishing to get it. I don't know if we need an engineer, or maybe we need to look at the way we allocate the money. I mean, I just did a 5.2 mile road and I spent half my budget. I mean, I'm almost broke already on one road.
We figured it yesterday. When we get through, I'm gonna have about $35,000 left in my budget.
There's just it comes down.
Probably won't have
Unfortunately, it comes down to money.
Probably won't have that. No.
My question to you is, do you want me to pursue to find out what it's going to, if we have that, will you use it if we get it?
I think the information
cost, I'll figure out a way to do that.
I think the information is valuable. I think it's valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think it's valuable is because it gives us a source of authority outside of ourselves that the public can look to and say, this is what they're doing, why they're doing it. I have a criteria of how I choose roads. It's traffic. I try to look at traffic count, surface conditions, and if it's a feeder road that feeds into other communities. And then I have a scale on that of how I measure that out. Some of them the surface condition is so bad that you have to do something. People are dragging high center, running. Can I tell you a quick story? I'm gonna tell you a quick story anyway. The first week I was in office, I had a lady call me and she said, I know you're new. She said, we have a little 3/10 of a mile of road that we live on, but she said, we've been driving in the ditch for a long time, but she said, I'm concerned that when this freeze comes after the snow, it's gonna be too wet for us to drive in the ditch anymore. Okay, if they're driving in the ditch, we have a problem, like we have to do something. So I run into situations right now where I told my guys, just quit coming in and telling me how bad it is over here. I've got my plan of what I want to rebuild this year, and then I have to go address certain things. I have to. There's no way around it. Like, it's so bad, I have to go address it. So I had to take one of the roads I was going to rebuild off my list last week. So I think it would be good to have that voice of authority outside of the court that would say, he's right, this is why he's doing it, and he's right, and this is what he needs to do. And if he does it the way the state does it, this is what it would cost, his entire budget. And you understand what I'm saying? And then they would know that we're trying, I'm trying to win the confidence of the people that I'm not building my buddy's road. I'm building it because this is the traffic count. I'd like to have a traffic meter. I would like to have one available to me. I haven't been able to find one yet, but I think we need that information. And I don't want to spend $100,000 a year on a consultant, but I think it'd be valuable. The wealth of resource that he has available to him and the knowledge that he has over probably 30 plus years of being in construction, road construction and maintenance would probably be a benefit to us. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I'm not asking you to commit money right now. I'm just asking, do you want me to pursue it to see if there's somebody that would be available?
I don't have a problem with you pursuing it. I'm not gonna sit here right now and say, yes, let's get them. Because I wanna know the cost, because
I understand.
I have so many people out there that says, he just throw the number out there, I know $100,000 for this guy. Then people in my precinct would say, that's $100,000 you could spend on my roads.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I'm not paying $100,000. I'll tell you right now.
I'm just saying, I know you throw the number out there and I'm using it the same way. But I'm interested in you pursuing it and find out what it will cost us. And then you have an idea of when it comes back of where that money's coming from.
I can tell you something. I can tell you something else while we're on the subject. Can I say something else while we're on the subject?
Yes, you may.
Well, if they say no, you still talk, so. Not in.
So I think the public, I just want this on public. I'm going to express it, and I'm not trying to drop a bomb on here, pick a fight. I got accused of being a troublemaker, but that 4.2 million, they'd rather have spent it on the roads than they would buying a piece of property. And if we did something like that, even if we did a bond on roads, I think that would pass. And I think the lion's share would have to go to Bobby. I mean, anyways,
I think I'd be interested in knowing how this consultant could save, if as our road and bridge team is out there working with our limited budget, if it were possible that a consultant would say, you know what, you would save money if you would do X, Y, Z, and reduce the loss or reduce the shrinkage. We found there's a company that takes those recycled asphalt shingles and lays them down. And what we determined is when they lay them down, they try to lay down a 6-inch thick pad, it looks great, but it tears up. And what we found is if we use our blade and we make it about 4 inches, then it lasts for years. But those that are 6 inches, they tear up in one week. So that's kind of along the same lines as if we had somebody that could tell us how to save money, it might pay for themselves.
Those shingles are $27,000 a mile. That's tremendously cheap. They don't address the base. And the guy told me, he said, if you don't address the base, he said, it won't last at all. And I've got 3 roads that they did in our precinct. One laid down real good. It's in shade. I didn't think it would. One laid down, it came all apart, it crumbled like dirt. And one, they picked it up. It didn't last 2 weeks. I don't know what, and we don't know for sure what the factors were in that. And the one that we have now that is operational, it's got big cracks in it. And I have a machine that I can do crack seal with, but the verdict's not in on it for me personally, because I don't know how long they've been putting those shingles down. A year or 2 now, maybe 3 years, maybe.
2.
But with that said, sometimes that's all you can do. Like sometimes you're just doing a surface application to get you through. I mean, like that's what my patch crew did. People say I'm tired of those people throwing asphalt in them holes. It'd be way worse if they weren't throwing something in them holes. I mean, those guys are important to us, but yeah, I think a guy like that tells us this is how much you save if you do it right.
Yeah.
Over a period of
The
time. I
long
think that's a
term,
great
looking at the
idea.
long
Yep.
term. Okay, I'm gonna pursue finding somebody and don't worry about the cost. Or I'll find out, what the cost is in that regard. Second item that we got. And this has to do with, we've got the contract for the debris removal going on. And the contractor Drury Construction has been out there picking up trees. And we estimated when we started to have 12,000 cubic yards of debris to pick up. And that they started on March 6th. And at the moment right now, they have picked up 25,000 cubic yards, over double what we had predicted. But one of the things is they're doing a lot of stuff for us that is going to help us in the long run. All of this is going to be reimbursed by FEMA, or 75% by FEMA and 25% by TDM. So we should get our money back on this. But in this process, this is the trucks that they are using right here, the debris hauling trucks with the, it's called a grapple or a boom. What is a boom loader?
Yeah.
This is what has been used. And as I've been watching them work, I firmly believe the county needs to acquire one of these for our own use in some point in time. I'm not talking about right now, but at some point in time, because you look at all the tornadoes we've had, 2015, 2017, 2019, and then last year's storms. These storms are ongoing. We are just very fortunate that we got a declared federal disaster so that we can get reimbursed for doing this. We're not going to have that in the future. And I believe this is an excellent design truck in that you've got your boom on the back end and you got almost 360-degree view of what's going on. And you can send a guy out. If you just got 1 tree down or 2 trees down, you can send just this 1 truck out and 2 guys and go out and pick it up, and then you can go unload it wherever you want. They unload, this truck doesn't have a dump. You actually unload it with the grapple in that regard. But in any case, I think this is something that we know every spring we have these storms that put many trees down. We have now got our roads cleared up. They'll be done by the end of this week. They'll be finished. This will help us in the future. So again, not considering what it's going to cost at this moment, but do you believe as that this is something that we should pursue in the future? Having just 1 truck that the county would purchase, and again, we'll work out the details on that, but it would then be shared by all 4 precincts as needed basis.
That's a custom made. I went over and talked to them about it. They custom made that bed. They didn't tell me what it costed. Did you talk about it? Like what it cost?
No.
So my personal opinion, I like it. I like the truck. I wouldn't want to pay I don't want to pay all of it because I wouldn't, like you said, we wouldn't use it all the time, but it would be handy for the county to have a piece of equipment like that. we picked up a tree that fell.
What is your typical process?
So I brought an excavator, two my little Tonka toy dump trucks that I have, and a flatbed trailer, and my whole crew. The tree was ginormous. It took about 5 hours to get it completely cleaned up, total. That was because the homeowner had manicured both sides of the road, so we raked it all up. We got as much of it out. We pulled a stump out. The stump was huge. It's the biggest pine tree I've ever seen. But it took my whole crew 5 hours with a $300,000 excavator, $200,000 worth of dump trucks. It was expensive. I mean, if you really think about it.
Right.
And if I could have just cut that up and set it in that, I mean, I didn't have any, like the trailer that we used to haul it off. It was sketchy. But I don't have a trailer like that. I don't know, some of you guys probably have a dump bed trailer like that. Do y'all have something that you pick up brush with?
We pick up our big stuff and put it either in a flatbed or a dump truck, and then we mulch the rest.
See, we had a haul truck built just for brush that you could dump, but it's gone. When I got there, it had been sold. But you could, when we have a big storm, like you could do a lot with that.
Yeah, and you could just bring your dump trucks, all the precincts to work together. If we had like one of those tornadoes where it was heavily concentrated, you could go back, just let that sit there and load all the trucks. Doesn't have to, in that regard. So my question is, do you think it's worth my time to research? And I'm going to go to Drury Construction and ask them what a used one, what they would sell one of theirs for. That's what my plan is. But again,
just go see what it costs to build that. I mean, not that we would build it, but I mean,
well, I don't think we need a new one. Again, I would rather buy one that's already built.
It's gonna be spent a lot. And when you get ready to use it, you're gonna have to do things to it to get it going again. If it sits there a year and you don't use it, then
you have to have somebody on the yard cranking that thing and moving
regularly.
Well, maintenance would be shared, but the cost of the original would not. In my vision, in that regard. So I will move forward with finding out options on purchasing one of these for the I had a video. Let me see if I can give everybody an idea. I can't. I don't know how to start it from here.
I'm not even sure we would need one that big. I mean, some of my roads, that load was so heavy it busted the cap on the road.
On my end, I have the two Mac 12-yard trucks.
There you
go. So
see, and those are really nice because they can get both all the way out to the fences. Just park in the middle of the road, and it's got to reach long enough that it can reach both fences.
But they will tear up your fences.
Yeah, get into them. Yeah.
I was out at 9 o'clock repairing the fence.
Yeah, that's when you have a operator doesn't pay attention. All right, the third item that I have is, and Mitch was talking to me and telling me about this, and I'm gonna ask him to kind of lead off with it, and it's about diagnostic equipment for our equipment, for our machinery equipment.
So I have a Great All that has a Mercedes-Benz engine in it. I don't know what y'all say. How many of y'all got Great Alls? So
I got a junk one.
That's a sore subject right now.
So we had a wiring problem, and we called somebody from Longview to come. I can't remember the name of the company to diagnose it, and it's like $1,800, $2,400 for him to show up. So anyways, as we worked through all that, my mechanic, who would my foreman is a mechanic. He's a certified mechanic and a heavy equipment mechanic, and he's been with the county he's probably got 20 years in different precincts, but he's a wealth of knowledge as far as what things that he knows. But he said there's a diagnostic machine that will diagnose any machine you plug it into, but he said it's about $12,000 to $15,000. And a lot of our things that we have to get an outside mechanic to do, if we could diagnose them, we could in-house fix them. So I told the judge I was probably going to buy one, a diagnostic machine sometime next year. And he said, why wouldn't we share that between the 4 precincts so that we could, why wouldn't we work together on something like that? And I would be willing to share my mechanic, with anybody, my foreman, if we had, I think that's just how we should be. I think that's how we are right now. I think when push comes to shove, if we have to help each other, we will, that's just where it's at. But anyways, that's what I plan on buying one if nobody helps me. I mean, because I've had that guy in my yard, I think twice now.
Well, it'll pay for itself quickly
Pretty quick.
because
Yeah.
you're able to diagnose it yourself and
it'll
work on every piece of equipment you got. That's what my.
That's what he said. He said it'll diagnose any piece of equipment. That's why it's so expensive.
It'll have to be a new enough piece of equipment.
Yeah.
That has the computer on it that you can plug it into.
Mhm.
See, my Volvo, like a lot of
Most
UX
of my equipment does not have that.
but your great all does, right?
I don't even know if it does.
Look like your great all. Who else bought the excavator? So I have a loader that's 4 years old. It's got switches all over it. Half time I can't get it cranked because I don't know what switch to turn on. But anyways,
I think my grade all is like an 06.
No.
Somewhere in early 2000,
I don't know what.
but it's
model it is.
got 7,000 hours on it. Yeah.
Well, I take a different approach. We have something go down, we can fix it, we fix it. And then there's stuff that's just out of our pay grade. And we go have a professional fix it. One time, we're done, we didn't lose any time. And if it goes wrong again, hey, it's warranty. They come back and fix it again. And I think this is my opinion, it costs more up front to pay them to come fix it. But it's fixed right, and it didn't cost my guys time out there.
No.
Cause I've told them this, and me included, there's some things that we're just not smart enough to
No,
fix.
that's right. Yeah, those great alls, they have such the wiring harness on a great all, if I'm not mistaken. Because it has two cabs. It has a driving cab and a working cab. So you can switch. You have to switch power from the front to the back to work it. Just the wiring harness on it, just to buy the wiring harness is $25,000. So if you have a short inside that wiring harness, and there is multiple opportunities for something to go wrong because it's got so many moving parts. But now it's handy to have when it's working.
The 2 pumps that moves mine forward and backwards from the operating cab are at half pressure.
Yeah.
And you cannot buy them pumps.
Have to rebuild them.
You can't rebuild them.
They've made
It's
stuff
not
now
working.
to where you can't fix it.
Yeah.
That's on automobiles and
Yeah.
things, no matter what.
But there are also there are electrical solenoids that switch all that stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
but this is.
There's all kinds of stuff on it, but I'm probably gonna buy one of the machines, but he's a certified mechanic. So he can, a lot of the things that we would have to send off, like right now, I have things that I need to send off that I'm gonna fix in-house because I can't live without them 2 weeks. I have to have those things. So, and you send a piece of equipment off and you might not get it back for 3 weeks. So I don't know. Yeah. I'll buy one, and if you don't break down, I'll just charge you half price.
Well,
If you buy one, I'll borrow it from you.
so
Why buy when you can
We're ready
borrow,
for it.
and why do today what you can put off till tomorrow? That's what my neighbor always said.
So I will work with Mitch about Curtis, Mitch.
All right, you'll get it right before it's over with.
On that, and but I'm gonna move forward. I didn't get definite no's, and at least determine
Look at it.
prices
Look at it.
and what it would be. And I have a plan which I'll bring forth in our budget meetings when we start them, which we need to start planning for in the next couple of weeks. So, all right, that's all I have for the workshop. Unless anybody else has something they want to discuss. Not? All right. We will now move into do we need a closed executive session? Who called it?
I called it. I wanted to give an update on an issue, but we can pass it for 2 weeks.
Okay, all
So
right.
when we do, I just have a question.
Mhm.
When we do a closed executive session, we can't disclose what the topic of the session is?
Mm. It's generally, the topic is like in here, it says according to government code, a certain government code is to conduct a closed meeting, deliberate business and financial issues related to the contract being negotiated. So
It's not
it
specific.
kind of depends on what the situation is. I do know that some of the cities have, when they do the executive session, they list out all the lawsuits that they're gonna get updates or talk about. So, you know, if in that regard. So I don't know how specific you need to be in the language.
I don't know. People just ask for transparency all the time. I'm just trying to. I just want to be transparent as much as we legally can be transparent. You know, I don't think I don't. I mean, I wouldn't be a very good poker player because you're gonna know what I got pretty much. I'll be if I'm got winning hand, I'm smiling. You know, but so I don't know. I just was curious. You know, because people call me and ask me what is that about, and I'm like, I don't know if I can. I don't know what I can do. So I'm just curious.
Well, it's gonna be up to the person who requests the
Okay.
executive session
Okay.
as to whether or not it's something that needs to be revealed. So if we are going to pass on the executive session, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made, second, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. We are adjourned at 10:08. Thank you, gentlemen.
Got 40, one road I've got to go in. I haven't read this favor.
No, I don't. I got another road I gotta go to.
I got this. Did you get something from this guy?
Yes, sir.
Hold on.
Yeah, probably. My name's on it.
Said looked at it.
Doing all right?
How you doing, Jay? Doing all right? Thanks for joining us.
What are you up to, man? I'm not Jesus. I think that's supposed to be asking you.
No, I saw that.
Yeah. You okay, auditor lady? You good? I'm good. Good to see you smiling. So far, so good. You know, just quiet. I like it that way.
Saw it on email.
Outstanding. Yeah.
You got a moment? Okay.
I was gonna stick my phone up, start live stream. I got selected for DC.
Really?
Awesome. You did. Congratulations. When do you go?
July.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see you on TV one of these days. I used to know that guy.
But then I got a call from Matt, this campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's wanting you to. In the area, right?
Huh? Cool.
That's the local election.
Yeah. Politics.
Oh,